Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 13 after this long hiatus of the Dynasty Fantasy Football League podcast, the night before our 2024 rookie draft. So, who better to join me tonight than Mr. 2024 draft, Jesse himself? Jesse, say hello. Yeah.
It has been way too long since we've been here on the computer podcasting together. I don't think I'm going to sleep tonight.
Yeah, I mean, we have what, 9 picks? So
I'm too wired.
Yeah, and I'm gonna just drink.
Oh, mind if I join you? Here.
Yeah, go for it. So our plan on the podcast tonight, right? So Jesse, as we all know, has 9 of the 12 first-round picks in the draft this year. So he and I are going to kind of revisit how Jesse came to acquire all those picks, and just kind of see where his team's at and what he. I mean, we're not going to try to dive too much into what he's going to do tomorrow because, I mean, by the time you guys watch this, he might have already made all of his picks. So it's very possible.
That is true.
So let's jump into. All right, so here we go. We're going to start. Well, first we're going to start with, I said I had to brag about this pick or this trade that I gave you Laviska Shenault for your second-round pick. That, you know, it's a second-round pick. It could be good, but I mean, it's definitely more valuable than Laviska Shenault. So.
Oh yes, you won that trade by a little bit. Yeah, you're welcome.
And so this was kind of, I feel like this was only a few days before you really started the fire sale, and it didn't, like, looking back on what you did later, it doesn't really make any sense. Like, you know, once you start buying into the 2024 draft with all these other picks. So let's go to this first one so this was when it kind of, we talked about this, the first deal that kind of signaled that maybe you were looking to do some sort of rebuild. You dealt Tyreek Hill and a just gaggle of seconds and thirds to Colin for Kadarius Toney, and then you got his 2022 first, and then his 2024 first. So this was you had your own first, and now here's your second first that you got. So this turned into, one of the late picks this year.
Correct. Yeah, it's, you know what? There was something that came into a dream of mine. I had this vision, somebody telling me, collect all the 2024 picks you can. So I just went with it.
Was it Aaron Rodgers, and were you guys in a really dark room?
Yeah, something.
And he just started whispering in your ear.
Yeah, he was like, "Here, take this," and I don't know what do you do with ayahuasca? You smoke it, you drink it. I think you drink it. I don't know what do you do with it. No, I mean, I'm pretty sure at that time I was, because we were getting in the dynasty, I was watching more college football. The guy Caleb Williams, guy Marvin Harrison Jr. I was like quickly looking up, okay, when are they going to be eligible for the NFL draft? And they said like their first year of eligibility will be 2024. And I was just like, well, at this point, people aren't really looking into, or they don't have 2024 firsts kind of high up on their radar or worth a whole lot to them at the moment. And so I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to try to get however many I can.
Yeah, right. Because I mean, this deal, and I mean, several of the deals we're going to look at went down before we even drafted in 2022. So not only was it one draft, it was 2 full drafts away. So like you said, yeah, people were just kind of like, meh, like whatever. It's a first round pick 2 years from now. I can figure it out later. So I think maybe some of these you might have capitalized on people just like, I need players now and I don't need to worry about my pick later.
Mm-hmm.
So next one, we have your deal with Matt here. So this was shortly after that. You dealt Cortland Sutton to Matt for his first round pick, which now has turned into the 7th pick, I believe, 6th or 7th. I think the 6th pick.
I think it's the 6th pick. Yep.
So, I mean, this looks like definitely slanted in your favor here. I mean, Cortland Sutton's fine, but he's definitely not worth a mid-first round pick.
Agreed. Yep. I remember it was it wasn't tough to get that one. He needed something, and I don't know. Matt's easy to convince once you get a hold of him.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean that was pretty straightforward. Now we have another one here that's going to be more convoluted, and so this was Doyle. This is really when it was like, okay, Jesse is 100% just like out of not going to contend, and you packaged Devontae and Christian McCaffrey together, and got kind of this upside package back where you got Ramondre Stevenson, and then Doyle gave you 3 seconds in that draft and a third in that draft, and then you picked up a first in this draft, which this one I think also turned into a mid-first in some spot. It's hard when they don't have the pick numbers here, but it's just trying to remember. So this one was, I mean, this was obviously your signal that, okay, it's the fire sale is going on now.
It was, I think a lot of my players at the time were around that age of like, okay, are they, am I going to be able to compete with these same guys 2 or 3 years down the road? I mean, it turns out I probably could have with Hill and Adams and McCaffrey, but
I was about to say if you had Hill, Adams, and McCaffrey, you might have been contending the last 2 years. So, but now then you'd be looking at now and saying, do I really want to hold on to these guys going forward?
Right. And two, I mean, because if I wanted to trade Devontae Adams now or Tyreek Hill right now, I mean, I could probably trade him to a contending team, but could I get, an early first or whatever for them, so.
And I remember the one thing I do remember about this was you were like adamant you didn't want to trade McCaffrey and Adams to Ben, and then Doyle like traded them to Ben like a day later or something.
He did. Yeah.
They were basically on his team for like 48 hours before they left. So, I mean, this is the first one where I'm looking now and saying like maybe the rebuild wasn't necessary because the trio of Adams, McCaffrey, and Hill might have just been able to carry your team.
But two, so I think it was before we transitioned to Sleeper that I acquired Devontae Adams and Christian McCaffrey and Tyreek Hill. I don't think I drafted Tyreek Hill at the startup.
I drafted Tyreek.
You traded.
You and I made a deal. Yeah.
So I gave away a lot of firsts to acquire these guys
early on,
and it came down to this where it was like, what, I just, Dynasty is supposed to. That's the fun of Dynasty, is to try to rebuild and try to make your team your own, and this is all the fun of it.
Okay. All right, now we're getting into the first of, I don't even know if we want to talk about these. You and Andy just like repeatedly dealing these
back and forth.
AJ Dillon and a first round pick back and forth. I mean, you guys are the two Packer guys, so it's just you had AJ Dillon, people valued him, and Andy was willing to give you that 2024 first.
Only Andy and I valued him. Really. I mean,
that's true.
I really wanted AJ Dillon to be something.
At some point you finally deal AJ Dillon to Colin, and that's where I feel like you actually win the deal.
Yeah, and then I got him back. But
okay. Do you have him now?
I have AJ Dillon now.
You do have him on your team now?
I do have him on my team now. I'm trying to get rid of him.
All right, so here's so here you deal Aaron Rodgers. I mean, this trade effectively comes down to Aaron Rodgers for like a first round pick. The other stuff's kind of just filler.
Whatever.
Matt Ryan was just so you had a quarterback to put in a slot.
Yeah, and he probably started maybe half of the games for me, but.
And so now we're at, I forgot to keep track of how many firsts you have at this point. I think this is where you get a sixth. And this is actually the only first round pick that you get is Tony's pick, which now is Chris's pick, Chris Dixon's pick. Because I know eventually you trade this pick to me.
Mhm.
and then
Yeah.
now I've traded it. So this pick has been passed around
Yeah.
quite a bit. This
It's like a,
24
it's like a
first.
doorknob. Everyone gets a turn.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like this was a pretty good deal for you too. You know, missing out on Rodgers last season in Green Bay, but I mean, for him now, it's basically his values tanked because every season could be his last year. People just
Right.
don't know when he's going to retire.
Also, I'm sick of his shit.
Run for president or something. Who knows? This one doesn't involve a first. Who cares? Neither does that. So
Well,
no,
that's
it's tanked.
another AJ Dillon trade that involves a first, but not the 2024
Oh, not the 2024 first, but you and Andy once again. Evan Ingram and a 2025 pick. All right. So so here's
Ooh,
here's a
one.
big deal. Okay, so here's another big deal. I remember this deal took a lot of there's a lot of finagling going
A
on
lot
in
of
this
moving
one.
parts here and
A
there.
lot of moving parts.
I believe
You,
I
me, and
believe this
Nick.
was our first like three-way trade in
This
this
is
league.
I think this is the only one that we've
The
done.
only one.
And I remember you and I had been talking Hertz for quite a while. I still regret my choices of not doing this deal earlier because I had a way better deal in place. I think this deal looks bad for me because I ended up giving CD Lamb, who I would love to have on my team now. He ended up going to Nick. I think this actually makes you look bad too because you wanted a first instead of CD Lamb, which is why we got Nick involved. And
Yes.
Nick reaped the benefits by getting CD Lamb for a first and a third. And so your first from Nick ended up being the 12th pick. But mine that I dealt to you, I think ended up being, is that the second pick, right?
It's the second pick. Yep.
Yeah. But I mean, just look at what your team would look like if instead of this you had CD Lamb.
My team would look pretty good. I mean, if I still had, Puka and him and the current picks that I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember this was basically, we kind of came up with this deal and then we soured on it. And the reason I added Javante was because he tore his ACL. And then you were basically like, yeah, I'll take a running back who tore his ACL. Like, because you had no, intention of contending.
Mhm.
So like I remember we were like talking about this deal on a Friday and then we decided not to do it. And then on Sunday, Javante tore his ACL. And then I was like, okay, well, what if I added Javante
Yeah, and
on like Monday? And
we'll circle back to Javonte Williams here in a little bit too. He's involved in another trade.
I mean, honestly, this deal, I honestly think the biggest impact of this deal is that I think this is what won Nick the championship this year, in my opinion. This deal.
Yeah.
Getting
Agreed.
Lamb for a first and a third, he kind of bought him when his value had dipped enough, and then he just went off this past year. This was in the middle of the 2022 season. He was having a fine year, but not anything near where people expected. And then in obviously in 2023, he was just a monster.
Right.
So all right, and of course me getting, what do I want? Just give me third round picks. I love them. I have so many of these things.
Yeah, just hoping you can turn them into like a Puka.
I don't even know what this is.
We just swapped fourths.
Swap fourths for some reason. I don't know why.
Just for funsies.
And then okay, so here you get Jordan Love, and then you gave up. So this is where you gave up your next year's first round pick. This was, I remember, this was the fab thing, right? You basically got Jordan Love and a bunch of fab for your first round pick.
Yeah. It doesn't show it on there, but I got a bunch of fab. I believe we were trying to. So there was a bid war to get the Sam Ellinger or Ellen, whatever his fucking name is, for the Colts, because Matt Ryan got injured, and I had Matt Ryan. So I think me and Andy were like fighting over who's going to bid the most for.
Yep, and then you guys spent all your money and then left then to get Brock Purdy. So thanks for that.
Yeah.
So that was just, I mean, that's just, and so, I mean, this pick might be valuable for Nick, but I feel like your team, the way it's progressing, you might not be an early early round pick team next year. We'll see
Who knows?
how your team comes to. Here's another. This must just be like procedural stuff, like moving fourths around or something.
I think that was more. So going back to yours too, I think there's fab involved with your trade.
Oh,
and,
okay.
And
That's
Collins
right.
too.
That sounds right.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
I'm
That would
glad
make
I got all that fab.
Yeah. Okay. And then, so now here, this is, a few weeks later, and you basically sell Javonte Williams for a first.
And Matt Corral.
Javonte Williams and Matt Corral for a first and Wan'Dale Robinson. So yep. I think you made out well there. And this is Dave's pick, which now ends up being pretty high. I think Dave's like.
I think he's the fourth pick.
Yeah, because Dave's team took a precipitous fall here. I mean, there's an okay. So that's the end of the 2022 deal. So now let's go. Okay, where the hell was I?
I think you got to go back to your click on the dynasty page. Yep. And then you can go back to previous leagues.
Let's now look at 2023. All right, so I mean, this was at the point where everybody knew that you were just stockpiling 24 seconds. Or sorry, 24 first. I'm seeing all these seconds in this deal.
Yeah.
Here's another. You and Doyle like trading all these second round picks back and forth. You did that like 2 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if we have any more here. If you get actually I do know there's at least one more.
There should be one or two more. Yep.
So here's our deal that we made during the draft last year. So it's funny that the first round picks, the 2023 first and the 2024 first, are both the 9th pick. I know that. So I had the 9th pick last year. You traded up to get Jordan Addison. I traded back, picked up a 2024 first and a 2024 third. And then you picked up my first and third from last year. And that second round pick I got in that, I think, turned into Sam Laporta. I'm not positive, but I think it did. Who I'd, of course, traded because I trade everybody. But I mean, I think this was kind of where you showed like, okay, maybe I will use some of my first here to buy players that I like. Because, obviously you transition a 24 first into a 2023 first and pick a guy that you like in Jordan Addison.
Right. I was like, I have 9 of them. I might as well try to spread them out a little bit over the years.
And I wasn't really a fan of Jordan Addison, so I was willing to trade out of that pick. So I mean, and this has nothing to do with picks, but this deal obviously helped your team immensely. Mm-hmm. Here's where you get rid of AJ Dillon and get some just random throw-in players. Puka Nacua.
Just some random guys. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Colin used like a 4th round pick on him last year. And then
I think it was he had like back-to-back picks. And then I had a couple picks after him. And my plan was to draft Puka and Sean Tucker. Those, Colin was saying those were his darling sweethearts. And I was like, those are secretly mine too. And so another guy who valued AJ Dillon pretty high, I was able to snag him. And I'm pretty sure this is the ultimate reason that Colin wanted to leave the league.
This trade just drove him to quit.
Yeah. Puka.
He quit fantasy, and this trade like broke him then because he quit all fantasy, quit everything.
No. Colin,
obviously,
Colin, if you're watching, we miss you. Hope everything's well.
He probably will watch this, knowing him. I'm obviously picking up. And here's the thing: you getting Puka was good because his team didn't have it because he probably would have. That would have been just like an absolute
Mhm.
mauling in the
Oh, yeah.
in last year's season if you took his team and added Puka to it.
Yeah.
Like,
Would have been a
so,
monster.
not much to see here. I mean, if
Let's skip
here's another,
this. Let's skip it.
yeah, where
Skip
you,
this.
ugh,
I
whoa, what
was
is
I
this deal?
I was up north. I was drunk.
What the hell? I don't even remember this.
My brother-in-law was talking me into trading away Jordan Love because it would be a win-win situation.
Guess what? Let's just look at this deal and the other one you made with Colin. You basically traded Jordan Love for Puka Nacua. Let's just say you did that and move on,
Okay, sure.
right? I mean, that's kind of what
Yeah.
happened,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
If you
Yeah.
cancel out AJ Dillon, went back and forth.
Yeah.
Some other stuff moved, but it was mostly Jordan Love for Puka Nacua.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take Puka.
Yeah. All right. And then so this one obviously is a huge one for you too. Nick was desperate for a quarterback late last year and was
Mhm.
trying to get somebody. He dealing Josh Dobbs as like a 1-year rental for his first round pick, which turns into a top 6 pick. So
It's number 2 or 3. It's the third pick.
did he get that high of a pick? I thought he was 6.
No,
Oh,
he's third.
he's third. Oh,
Mhm.
wow. All right. So this deal ended up being massive for you then.
Yep. I had to sweet talk him too. I had to convince him that he needs these players in order to compete, get into the playoffs, make a run. He was probably sleep deprived from his hospital shift, and it's like, fuck it.
Yeah. And so, now he's got Josh Dobbs, who's like the third string quarterback, and Gus Edwards, who is like, who knows who the running back is going to be there. So, and I think, yep, that's about it for your deals. So, looking back on all those deals, how do you feel that you've done?
Well, as probably a lot of people would probably say, I'm putting a lot of my eggs into one basket, and but I think in the middle of last year, kind of really starting to analyze a lot of the incoming rookies, I'm feeling somewhat confident, that these players are going to be good. So,
Yeah, I tend to agree that this is a pretty strong class. It's a strong class, and I feel like it's super deep. Like there's a lot of random players that might be good that are throughout the second and even into the third round.
right.
But because the top is pretty top heavy too, that also adds to, guys that would normally be first round picks might now slide into the second because there's a lot of these guys available early.
Right. No, I definitely think the top 6 or 7 picks are really worth a lot. I mean, more than prior seasons. I would say, and
Yeah.
But I mean, it is quarterback and receiver heavy, but there's no running backs, which you and I, we need running backs. We don't have any. You just got Pacheco from Dave, but
and that was kind of a calculated move by me. I do like players that are going to be in the range. I had that 109 pick, the 9th pick, and I looked at Dave's team and I'm like, Dave has no use for Pacheco. He needs to get younger. He's rebuilding. So I figured, hey, let's try to work out a deal here. And so I came away with Pacheco, which I do really like. That, I like his upside as low end RB1.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we all know Clyde Edwards-Helaire sucks donkey balls, so they didn't re-sign McKinnon, so it's basically him. Like,
right.
I feel like the Chiefs always like have some undrafted guy that gets hyped up in camp, and it's like Darwin Thompson, or trying to see if I can name any of these other ones. Or
Kareem Hunt was a really,
he was
he was a rookie who just was second string.
He was a third round pick. So, but that's what I mean. Like,
I can't remember who got injured, and he came
Spencer
in for
Ware.
It's probably Spencer Ware, and then he blew up.
Yeah, they got this rugby player guy that people like for some reason. He's not going to do anything. But Yeah, I mean, I'd say looking at it, obviously you could look back and say like, well, maybe I could have contended for a championship with Hill and McCaffrey and Adams, but then you got nothing that, the cupboards are bare behind them, and then you don't really know what you're going to do other than hope that they carry you. So
Yeah, and too, like I said, acquiring these picks and then strategizing to figure out what to do. This is fun. I'll be honest with you, and so
yeah,
I'm glad our league stuck around long enough for me to actually see this come to fruition. So
yeah, and I'm just going to call everybody out right now. Like, how am I the only one making trades? I know, we all relied on Colin to text everybody and bug everyone about making trades. Every trade that's gone down since he's left, I've been involved in. I need to see some other people getting in on the action. I had my trade that I sent Jesse that I forgot that I even put out there, and he accepted it like a jackass.
they caught you sleeping.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, drafts tomorrow. Any other things you want to talk about as it relates to that? Obviously, you don't want to give away your strategy too much here.
I'll just say this. I mean, as long as Dennis picks who he's going to pick, who we think he's going to pick, you might see some trades go down mid-draft. I'll leave it at that.
All right. I like to hear it. All right. So before we go, me and my trivia, I love, putting you guys on the spot. I did tell you I did create a trivia game specifically for you.
Awesome.
So here we go. Here's your trivia. I want you to name every player that Aaron Rodgers has thrown a touchdown pass to.
Every player?
Every player. Let's see how many you can get.
Holy crap. So do you have like an Excel sheet, like the list?
Mr. Packers fan here. Am I sharing my screen or no?
You are not at the moment. No.
Oh. Here. Okay. Here we go. There's 45 players.
And it's got the number of touchdowns for every player.
Yep.
Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. We'll start with Devontae Adams. Should be a no-brainer. It's number one.
Number one.
I'm going to try to do these in order, just for extra difficulty.
Yeah. Okay.
Ooh, number two. This one's. I'm going to say it's Jordy Nelson.
Yep.
Yes. So there's a big drop off here. This one's going to be tough, but I'm going to say Greg Jennings.
Greg Jennings is number 5.
Close.
Yeah.
Okay.
These three are all, they're all pretty close. 49, 45, 42.
Sure. So. He's not going to be up. I don't think he's up at the top, but he's close. Donald Driver.
So Driver's number 6.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. We'll go James Jones.
Number 4. What happens when you have 14 in one season or whatever he had?
Right. He had that monster season. Yeah. Randall Cobb.
Randall Cobb's number 3.
Okay. Let's see. I'm starting with receivers in general.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Alan Lazard.
Alan Lazard is number 9. Or I guess tied for 8th.
Okay. Jeff Janis.
Jeff Janis.
He's not gonna. I don't think he's had that many regular season touchdowns.
Jeff Janis had 3 of them. I think this includes playoff touchdowns. So
does it? Okay.
Yes, I think it's all of his touchdowns.
All right, let's go. Christian Watson should be 14. One of the 14s.
Christian Watson?
Yeah. Oh no, it shouldn't be one of the 14s. It should be like 6 or 7.
No, Christian Watson's not on here. He was a rookie Jordan Love's first year.
No, he wasn't.
I don't have him on here. Just make sure. Double checking my list. Yeah, he's not on here. Christian Watson.
Christian Watson was drafted 2 years ago, which
Why is
Rogers was on the.
weird? Why is he not? Why is he not on the list that I have?
Hmm.
All right, I think he. Yeah, I think you're right. Let me just double check. I'm trying to. 2022, Christian Watson. Yeah, it says he had. I'm gonna look it up while you guess other people.
Okay. All right. So does that mean Romeo Dobbs isn't on there?
Maybe this list that I looked at wasn't updated, or it was like cut off at some point.
Because I remember Rogers throwing 3 touchdown passes to Christian Watson against the Cowboys. That was pretty epic.
Okay.
Let's go Aaron Jones.
Yeah, I know Aaron Jones is on here. Aaron Jones. He's right here, 14 touchdowns.
Let's go Jimmy Graham.
I look at the right season. Jimmy Graham has 5.
The next tight end will go Jermichael Finley.
Yeah, so Christian Watson is on here. I just messed that up. He had 7 touchdowns. Who's your next one?
Jermichael Finley.
Yep, Jermichael Finley's the highest available here. So I'm going to keep this 2022 thing open in case there are randoms that got missed for some reason.
Yep.
But no, the other ones are all on there. Maybe. There's one other that might not be on there. Okay.
All right, this is getting tough now.
Oh, there's still a lot of names here.
I know.
A lot of names.
Jamal Williams had to have caught a touchdown pass from him somewhere.
Yep. He's got 6.
Mm-hmm. A fullback. Let's go John Kuhn. Kuhn.
He's got double digit.
Hell yeah. Let's go Marquise Valdez-Scantling.
Yeah, I don't feel like typing that.
MVS.
Yeah, that's what I put. Yeah.
A random tight end. Donald Lee.
Donald Lee. Got 9.
Okay. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Look, there's a lot of tight ends on here.
He loved his tight ends.
Yeah.
Um, Martellus Bennett. Did he catch a touchdown? I don't know.
All right, that's your official first strike.
Oh,
Yeah,
dang it. Dang it. Dude. AJ Dillon. Please tell me he had a touchdown catch.
2 of them.
Only 2. Okay. Ryan Grant.
Ryan Grant.
Wow,
Touchdown.
just 1.
Just 1.
Jeez,
I think he was mostly pre-Rodgers.
Was he? Okay.
I think they might have only played like 1 season together.
Yeah. Oh shoot. I could picture his face, but I don't know his name. He's a running back. Dang it. Oh well. This is probably going to be low on the list. Maybe Jared Abbrederis.
I don't have him on here.
No.
Nope.
Shoot. Okay.
Jared Abbrederis. I've heard the name, but yeah, I don't have him.
Yeah, he came in the same year that Jeff Janis did. Both just white boys from no-name colleges. That's just right.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm drawing.
I saw a highlight clip of the double Hail Mary, and remember Jeff Janis caught one of those passes.
Yeah, against the Cardinals.
Yeah.
That was epic. I'm going to need some hints here.
You're still missing a couple obvious tight ends, I think.
I am. I really am.
Yeah. One was not long ago, and he had a really big season with a bunch of touchdowns.
Oh, Robert Tonyan.
Robert Tonyan. One of these people has the same last name as the quarterback.
Richard Rodgers.
Richard Rodgers.
Caught that Hail Mary against the Lions. Oh, boy.
Yeah. God. What a jackass.
Yeah.
You're missing some definite obvious running backs.
I probably am. Shoot. Obvious running backs. Come on, Andrew. Help a brother out.
One of them, the one with the most touchdowns left. So this one is 6. He was very he's known for being very large.
Eddie Lacy.
Big fat Eddie Lacy.
Known for being large.
Big fat Eddie Lacy. Showed up to camp weighing like 260.
Oh, he was a big boy.
Big boy. I mean, it's hard to give clues without just like giving answers away.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're at the tap out point though, basically. Like
I think so.
you gotta come on. You gotta be able to pull some of these names. I've heard of most of these guys, so it's
oh shoot. I mean, you're gonna say them and be like, oh well, duh. Like
yeah. This next one, I feel like he started around the same time as MVS. He's another wide receiver. I like, for some reason, the 2 of them in my mind are similar players, but his first name sounds like he could be a Native American Indian. All right, you're not getting it, so I guess I'll just give it.
Oh, Geronimo Allison. Okay. Yeah.
Weren't they like around the same time? MVS, Geronimo Allison. Yeah, maybe not.
They were. I don't think Geronimo Allison was drafted. I think he was just
Okay.
like a street player who came in and just won out. He also played for the Lions a little bit too, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so. So next we got James Starks.
James Starks. Okay, another running back.
Some running backs.
There's still another running back that I can picture what he looks like, but I can't get his name. He's going to show up here. I know he will, but
this one I don't even know how to give a clue. Spencer Havner.
tight end-ish type of guy.
Yeah. Andrew Quarles.
Oh, tight end. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was another tight end.
Mm-hmm.
Crabtree.
Tight end. Oh my God. Jeez.
The next one's another tight end. I know him more as being on Jacksonville. He's played forever. This guy's been in the league for
Mercedes Lewis,
years.
baby.
Mercedes Lewis.
Big dog.
Like, he's been on like every team. Okay, so now I think this next one is the running back that you're thinking of. That the thing I know him for was 1 year on ESPN in fantasy. You could play him as a running back or a wide receiver. He was listed as both.
That's not the running back I was thinking of, but
Okay.
yeah, another. Yeah. So yeah, he was a receiver first. I think he came from Stanford.
Yeah. I thought he was from Kentucky.
Yeah.
But that might just be thinking of Randall Cobb.
He was from Kentucky.
And you have Brandon Jackson.
Brandon Jackson was the running back I was thinking of.
Oh, really? I almost said that. I was like, because I saw the two of them back to back. Next to, we have two more tight ends. I said Aaron Rodgers loves these tight ends. Both of them are like big names. One of them still, I think, plays. Both of them have been around. Like the one I know from the Rams, the other, both of them played for the Rams. So I got the two of them together. Jared Cook and Lance Kendricks.
Yeah.
I feel like they're very similar. Now here's more of like white guys. Like I feel like this is my white guy section here. We've got Jake Kumaro and Jay Sternberg.
Dude, Rodgers was in love with Kumaro.
Yeah, it's like, aren't these guys like? I feel like these were guys you loved too. Like you're like, oh, this guy's got the next Packer receiver.
Yeah.
He's the next Jordy Nelson.
Jordy Nelson, yeah.
Yeah, and the one and dones. I mean, these could just be like this could literally be anybody. So I'll start. See if you even know who these people are.
Corey Hall, Ruvel Martin, yeah, receiver. I don't remember Corey Hall.
At a time.
Boykin Bostic was a tight end. He's known for dropping the onside kick or muffing the onside kick against Seattle, which Seattle then went to the Super Bowl.
And then we'll just reveal the rest of them.
Perillo, tight end. Davis, tight end. Ripkowski was a fullback. Malik Taylor, receiver. Who's on the Jets? St. Brown, receiver. DeGuara, tight end. Daphne was like a tight end fullback hybrid.
And then there's one more from, where is he? That I found here that wasn't listed, that had one. Can you see if you can finish the
Sam Samare Toure.
Yeah.
I was about to say Sam Congato.
Sam Congato. Yeah, I think those are the only ones I see here from 2022, which I think whatever list I looked at had like cut it off sometime in 2022 for some reason. It's probably old or something.
So I see you have some more games on there, more trivia.
I got all sorts of them on here.
I'm excited to get this back up, and we'll get some challengers on here.
Yeah. So
that was fun. Apparently, I'm not a Green Bay Packers super fan.
I guess not. Yeah, because I and it's hard to come up with trivia ideas. It's fun when there's multiple people, but then I'm like, if there's only be one person on here, I'm going to try to cater something directly to their knowledge base.
I appreciate it.
So, if Dennis comes on, we're doing Michigan football. If others come on, who knows? I'll have Dave on, and he can guess Lions cornerbacks that apparently have rushing touchdowns. So that's a throwback to an original podcast episode. So, all right. Well, I think we're gonna wrap the episode up here. And any final thoughts from you before we do?
I'm excited for tomorrow. I'm excited to see if this, the trusting the process actually works. No, thanks for having me on.
All right. Thanks, everybody. And like I said, hopefully within the next couple of weeks, we'll get a draft recap here. I'll find a guest that him and I can break down the draft and see kind of start getting into our off-season content of that, and then just starting to preview teams and preview the season. So we're getting into what is it, June now? So football's only a couple months away at this point.
Months away. 2024. Here we come.
Here we come. So, all right. Good night, and we'll see you when we see you.